So in chapter 2, Mishnah 11 of the Pirkei Avos, Ethics of the Fathers, it says from Rabbi Yeshua, an evil eye, an evil inclination, and hatred of others drives a person from the world. Magen avos, one of the interpreters, says, one who projects this evil eye suffers from it as well. Bartenura says, an evil eye he places on the money of his fellow or his children and thereby harms his fellow. Rambam, Maimonides, says, hatred of others is an illness of the soul, melancholia, which causes the victim to be repulsed by the sight of his species and to hate them. He prefers the company of beasts to humans and enjoys being alone in the deserts and forests. He chooses to live in a place void of any man. He does this not in the positive sense of elevating himself, but only because of his depravity and enviousness. These attributes will, without a doubt, kill him, since his body will become ill and he'll die before his time. In another aspect of the Torah teachings, we have Rabbi Yitzchak Shneerson, who shares how the head tefillin, the phylacteries, known as the tosefos, which in Aramaic the cognate is totfisia, numeric value 498. And if we look at the word Adonai, which is what we use for my master, for Hashem, for our God, our Lord, Yud and He and Vav and He, the four-letter tetragrammaton, El Adonai, which is my God, my master, and then El, it's pronounced Shakai, but really it's Shin Daled Yud, Shaddai, which is the name of the aspect of God, which is, these are the three, they're corresponding according to Rabbi Yitzchak Shneerson, the Rebbe's father, the Lavich Rebbe's father, Rabbi menachem Shneerson, his father, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Shneerson. He says this value is equal to the God of the abundance, the God of the masterhood, and the Yud He and Vav He. These three versions of the three titles. One is El, and then Sha, and then Dai, and then Yud and He and Vav and He, and then El, and then Ad, and then Nai. Okay. And this corresponds not only to the three facets of the intellect, Chachma, Bina, and Das, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but also the three worlds, three spiritual worlds that lead to ours, which is the Atzilus, emanation, Bria, which is creation, and Yitzira, which is formation. In Menachos 34b, Rabbi Akiva, cited by Rashi in Shemos, says 2 plus 2 is what totefos stands for. Menachem ben Saruk, cited in Rashi, says something that evokes speech about the Exodus. And Ibn Ezra says it's a reminder. That's what tosefos is the meaning. This is a tefillin, because it doesn't say clearly what it is. So people are, various teachers were trying to figure out what to say. The Ramban, which is nachmanides, and then he says it's a head ornament, and then bechor, shar, says it is something to look at. That's how they translate this. And then totefos is spelled this way in devarim, 6:8 Deuteronomy, but it's spelled differently with a vav, with an additional letter in Shemos, Exodus 13:16, and also in devarim 11:18. We're going to share now from Shawn Sheshn Hashmatpour, a coach. He says, we're going to talk about the good eye for good health. Like, why would you need to be jealous if you're successful? So let's look at that. He says, who you decide to be on your worst days, not how your success is equal to who you decide to be on your worst days, not on your best days. How you show up and love yourself when things don't go your way. And those who build legacies don't skip those days. They do what they can under their current circumstances, and they are compassionate with themselves while doing it, and they don't do the work from a place of punishment or moving through life feeling lower than the rest of society. In addition, they do it with understanding and refuse to quit on those days. When those days show up, they self-forgive. We have to do what we can and let that be enough for the day, rather than treating a schedule like a fight. And as if lovability is tied to how much, or worth is, well, he says lovability is tied to how much is gotten done in the day. Fighting to prove with a constant mental and emotional weight, dragging through everything that one does. Whatever you're facing, career, health, wealth, productivity, time management, or entrepreneurial vision, it's all a minor it's all a mirror, it's a tool to help you understand what's happening inside your mind and body. Building success from true inner peace, confidence, and emotional mastery, a type of inner foundation that can carry everything you're building without a constant war in your head. True inner peace is not only when the outside is compatible. And then he talks about, what about rejection? Rejection is something we might feel that could make us jealous, right? Evil eye. So let's see what he teaches. He says, almost never is it personal. Incompatibility is not a reflection of your worth. Everyone, men and women, can experience fear, for example, of being judged or criticized or feeling not enough, of rejection or of being vulnerable, that opening up emotionally feels risky if vulnerability once led to pain. Many women have inexperience with healthy masculinity, knowing only emotionally available and consistent men. Emotionally unavailable and consistent men. In other words, where a safe, good man seems suspicious at first, and women can be emotionally unavailable too, with walls up from past betrayals, heartbreak, and even abuse. Now we're talking both sides. He's speaking from the man's perspective, but we could look at it from the woman's perspective, which is what he's inviting us, that both sides, letting someone in can feel terrifying, even when we want to do that. There could be a fear of being objectified, which is where we are pursued for our body, not our soul. Social conditioning that men should chase, or that it's not feminine to initiate and shows too much interest, is also a weight, or it could be a challenge. In other words, you could not go after what you want because you're not supposed to, according to society. Current life stress, like work pressure, family drama, or unresolved personal battles, can emotionally shut someone down. Misinterpreted signals. Sometimes a woman can freeze because she isn't sure if you're genuinely interested or just trying to flirt. Sometimes she's just simply not interested. It's okay, because no amount of confidence, charisma, or charm can manufacture the chemistry if it's not naturally there. So he's not sugarcoating. He's telling me and you, we can't force someone to love us. We can't make someone desire us. Subconscious programming of fear, shame, resentment, and insecurity can block healthy connection, and there's this opportunity to expand through our awareness of our pain versus closing our heart. To have self-compassion and understand sometimes people just hold back out of fear. There's no need to pressure ourselves or expect others to perfectly meet our needs. I want to share from what the sages teach, that in a baraita, in the tosefta, baraita means an additional, and the tosefta is additional. It's like a mirror of a mirror. In 4:16 to 9, the sota placed her eyes, fixed her gaze on one who is unfit for her, another man. The sota is the one who was alone with another man who she wasn't supposed to be, and then they're testing whether she was intimate with him, with a ritual at the temple. This is what they used to do at that time when they had the temple standing, and the technology for this sort of stuff. So they say one who is unfit for her, the man, so her punishment is that her desire is taken. She becomes forbidden to the paramour forever, that she cannot be with him, and her husband, what she had, is taken, and she's also forbidden from him. This is if she actually was with the other man. If she was just accused by someone, maybe who was jealous, and then they do the ritual and it shows that she wasn't guilty, then she's actually blessed to have children with her husband and good things. Okay, now we're going to talk about codependency. Avoidance patterns that we might say, and communication. And this could be like why somebody might feel that they don't have what they want, or in other words, until if someone's dependent, they might feel powerless and they might be jealous. So codependents will often act in ways that invite others to reject, shame, and express anger towards them. While in recovery, we act in ways that are encouraging loving, healthy responses from others. In codependency, someone might judge harshly what others think, say, or do, and avoid emotional, physical, sexual intimacy to maintain distance. While in recovery, a person engages in emotional, physical, sexual intimacy when it's healthy and appropriate, and practice recovery to develop healthy and fulfilling relationships. In codependency, a person might use indirect, evasive communication to avoid conflict or confrontation, and they may diminish their capacity to have healthy relationships by declining to use recovery tools. They may allow addictions to people, places, and things to distract them from achieving intimacy in relationships. And they suppress their feelings and needs to avoid feeling vulnerable. They may pull people close to them, but then when they get close, push them away. Well, in recovery, we use direct, straightforward communication to resolve conflicts and deal appropriately with confrontations. And when we use recovery tools, we're able to develop or maintain healthy relationships of our choosing. And we embrace our own vulnerability by trusting and honoring our feelings and needs, and we welcome relationships while maintaining healthy boundaries. In codependency, a person might refuse to give up their self-will to avoid surrendering to a power greater than themselves. They might believe that displays of emotion are a sign of weakness, and they might withhold expressions of appreciation. But in recovery, we believe in and trust a power greater than ourselves. We honor our authentic emotions and share them when appropriate, and we freely engage in expressions of appreciation towards others. I want to talk about healthy communication now. This will be our last main topic. So, healthy communication includes internal communication and external communication habits. These shape our thoughts, feelings, our actions, and our relationships. We've got to be clear, concise, and honest. And in healthy communication, we first need to know what is in our hearts and minds. We continuously ask ourselves, what do I think? What do I feel? What do I need? And then we can empower ourselves to express these feelings openly and honestly without fear controlling us of others' reactions. Our fear could be the greatest repressor of human spirit and the hidden culprit behind many of our damaging beliefs about others and about ourselves. It masquerades as truth and holds us in a false belief that we're unworthy and that others' reactions will destroy us. Something we don't know true feelings. Sometimes we don't know true feelings, but if we're aware and don't communicate them openly and honestly, we're allowing fear to control us. Hedging words like, I'm not sure, when we know the truth, or maybe when we know it's definite, or I'm fine when we're in pain, or I guess when we're certain. We used to avoid expressing the true feelings and opinions to control others' reactions, to deny our wants and needs, and to comply with others for approval. That's how we know when we're beating around the bush and we're looking at our intentions and what we want and how we're trying to avoid. A major problem with unhealthy communication is that we dishonor and devalue ourselves. Every time we fail to recognize and give voice to our precious thoughts and feelings, we lower our self-esteem. Identifying patterns is one way is doing a written 4th-step inventory. This is part of the 12-step program of our common communication history. We may discover many of our codependent verbal habits were learned from our families or in relationships with damaging significant others. We may find that other adolescent or adult experiences have influenced our communication patterns. This process might be painful, but it's also empowering and has helped many recovering codependents make great strides in developing healthier, more loving relationships. Once we identify the internal and external voices still damaging us, we can start empowering them and start replacing them with healthier choices. When we change our patterns, it starts with acceptance and the willingness to change, and then we take action. If we learned patterns, they can be unlearned. Some suggestions are: identify thoughts and feelings through journaling or meditation. Practice communicating needs, wants, and opinions and feelings with safe people and our higher power. Try to delay immediate responses to give us time to think and feel. I love that one. When possible, prepare for difficult conversations ahead of time. Note when we use the hedging words like perhaps, possibly, seems, maybe, probably. Watch for bargaining patterns. When we know we're ready, we don't want to join at all. For example, we start to bargain with someone when we don't want. Suggestions include: speak slowly, firmly, and clearly when drawing boundaries. Avoid justifying or explaining ourselves. No is a complete sentence. Practice using words other than fine or okay to describe how we're feeling. Compare our choice of words, tone, and volume to our true feelings and motivations. Use CODA affirmations from the program or other affirmations when we are feeling anxious about communicating. Speak honestly and kindly to others and ourselves. Honesty and kindness are not mutually exclusive. They can exist at the same time. With time and patience, we use healthier communication habits more and more, and as we let go of our old communication patterns, we begin to see positive changes in our lives and our relationships. That's all for today. All the best. Bye.